Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. From 2014, we are covering Noah. We then have from 2017, Mother! And finally, newly released, now in theaters, Caught Stealing. All these three films are directed by Darren Aronofsky. These are the last three we have to cover on him, and we have all of Aronofsky's films covered. So let's bring Vin in the room, hear what he has to say about these films. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Vincent Daly, how are we doing? Oh, turn it up. I want to be turning it down. How you doing? How you doing over there? Huh?
Not bad, Tom. How about you?
It's good. We had a good Darren Aronofsky week here.
Yeah, remaining Aronofsky. I was trying to work out like Darren and Remarin Aronofsky.
We're just finishing them off.
Yeah.
Maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing.
He might be finishing us off. I mean, I'm kind of done with him.
Well, the last time we covered him was when The Whale came out.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I guess I don't know what came first, either The Whale or the what was it when we did the directors first?
Oh no, definitely Whale first. And that episode was tackling a lot of movies I just had not seen from Aronofsky.
Yeah,
so
it's great. So we covered that was 5 episodes or 5 movies of his. Then we covered Pi, and here we got 3. We have Noah, Mother, and Caught Stealing, which are some of his later. Like, we covered a lot of his early stuff.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, as we'll talk about Noah and Mother in a weird kind of duo of his 2010 films. Yeah. But with this episode, we wrap up every film from Darren Aronofsky, now being rated and reviewed on website, as well as having, the audio review for the podcast. And it's a great feeling of accomplishment, but these movies just have very little to do with each other. I mean, as far as like thematically.
Which I like. He does do crazy.
He's all over the map.
He is all over the map.
Yeah.
When did Black Swan come out? Was that 2007 or like 2011?
Maybe before the 2010s. That's a good question. Because I'm trying to think Natalie Portman's career as well.
And that was a moment for everybody. It's 2010.
Oh, yes. Okay, so right on the dot.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, I mean, Black Swan, not to give away the goat, still like the top for me from him.
Well, that's why I feel like after that he was propelled into a new era.
Sure.
And I kind of was his next film Noah? 4 years later, was this his blank check film?
Yeah,
I think an expensive movie. Noah was an expensive film, and I think it kind of was his blank check thing.
You could feel the producers foaming at the mouth for some sort of like, can we start a new biblical trilogy, fantasy trilogy? They were hunting that Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings money.
Well, there was this. There was that weird year period here in the teens where we had a Christian Bale biblical movie.
Yes, and Exodus, Gods and Kings, which is Ridley Scott. Same year.
So there was something going on there.
There's something in the water. I literally say it in my notes. I mean, like, there's something in the water. Right? Yeah. I feel like, honestly, the well was dry, though, on maybe not all fantasy IPs, but you see this in the 2010s. Post Harry Potter, definitely post Lord of the Rings, Hollywood wanting more fantasy epics that they could really pump out. Percy Jackson was one of those.
Yeah, Percy Jackson.
This definitely cross-pollinates with like some of the
Maze Runner count?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like the adult young novels or young adult novels. All that space is big money. They want big franchise money.
Honestly, it's hard to say the big IPs went away because Lord of the Rings, there was a only 9-year period,
right?
And then you started out with the Hobbits.
Yep.
And then even when Harry Potter ends, you have the 3 Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, true, exactly.
And the show's coming out
They
soon.
can't leave it go.
No, of course not. You kidding me? That cash cow? Drain it dry.
Yeah, I mean, I listen, not to go on a further tangent, but that Harry Potter show, I am very curious about. I mean, I'm not really even that big of a Harry Potter fan.
Not at all.
Yeah, but I'm just so curious about it because I don't think we've had something this high profile in, I don't know, maybe ever, as far as the flip from movie to TV series.
This big. I mean, obviously they tried. I mean, Penguin gets good reviews.
Sure.
Okay, and
sure.
Well, and I mean, Star Wars. And even Marvel with their shows.
Yeah, there's quality.
Dune Prophecy.
But
Alien
money-wise, where I'm talking,
Yes, it's a big production.
Yeah, should we check in on
Wait,
Alien
what about
Earth?
the Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yeah, did you forget about Rings of Power?
Rings of Power was the biggest.
Is that
most expensive.
Intentional blackout on Rings of Power?
Nope, just a genuine blackout. Alien, yeah.
Check in on Alien.
Watched episode 3. It was fine.
Oh,
I started 12 minutes into episode 4.
I've heard some buzz on episode 4, actually.
Well, I hope it gets good, because so far it's like whatever.
Okay.
It's fine. I'll continue to watch it, I guess.
Yeah.
I finally picked up The Bear again this weekend.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, wait, wait, second?
I finally picked up The Bear again.
Oh, okay.
Been watched the first 2 seasons. Didn't watch it all last year. So now I'm going through season 3 and 4 in one shot.
I've really only seen first season and
Which
maybe like one episode, the Christmas episode or something.
Oh, you did do the Christmas episode.
Yeah, because I was more so curious. I mean, that's big cast for that show.
It's a great episode. Jamie Lee Curtis is really good.
Yeah, something else.
Jamie Lee Curtis is also in, is it 4? No, it's in 3. And she's in one episode of 3, and she's just like, she's out of control, but she's so good.
That's great.
Other than that, I'm really debating on watching Andor. Well, I guess this is TV talk.
This is TV Corner with Tom.
With 2 shoes.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have some complex thoughts on Andor, so I'll maybe hold off.
Have you given it a go until we start a TV podcast?
No, I have no desire to review TV shows.
Have you started Andor or poked around?
Yes, I've watched season 1. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's definitely seen as kind of like the new Star Wars gospel, or at least for like adult Star Wars.
Right, because it's something that's relatively acceptable, right?
Yeah, exactly, or that does something interesting with the world.
Right.
But yeah, I honestly, I really do want to hold back because I want to get your unfiltered thoughts on it. So
I should watch it.
Yeah, I would say so.
Listen, my boy is I love my boy in it.
Oh, what's his face?
Yeah, I totally, not Ray. What, wow.
Gollum.
No. Andy Serkis?
Yeah, Andy Serkis is in it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was your boy.
Well, I just have been following him for a little bit.
Yeah,
he's just very good. I just watched a clip with him interrogating someone in season 2, and I'm like, I should watch this show.
Yeah, I think he's only in season 2. He's a carryover.
That makes sense. Okay.
They're doing more to connect it a little bit further into Rogue One.
Yeah,
that's where it plays into.
Then that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just seems. And Rogue One is the best movie that Star Wars has had since.
Don't say it.
Empire Strikes Back.
Don't say it. We may get some hate mail. I mean, that's also another thing. To talk about Star Wars now, I mean, wow, this is Aronofsky's getting absolutely side-chaired.
It's his whole episode. We'll get to Aronofsky.
But to talk about Star Wars now, you kind of really have to talk about a revitalized love for the prequels. Mainly fans growing up with the prequels don't see them as bad, even in the slightest. They see
episode 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. They appreciate George Lucas's unique world building versus where the Disney sequels are a little bit more sterile.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a weird turnabout in the fan base.
I don't know if that says something. I don't know if that's speaking well of those 3. It's more so to me that just sounds like that's how bad the new shit is.
Fair.
You know?
Or how much of a stumble, what they did with the story. At least 3 is an arc, for Anakin.
Right.
So. But yeah, I don't know. That's a whole big minefield.
But I have my work cut out for me. So what do I have to watch? I have to watch Andor. I have to finish The Bear. I'm watching Alien.
Yep.
And then low key, I'm watching Deadliest Catch season 21. Which I actually have not approached in a while. I'm gonna let the episode stack up and binge.
You can treat yourself that way.
First 3 eps, fantastic. First 3 episodes, just real good. I'm not gonna quit on that. Okay. All right. Okay. People, open up your Bibles to Genesis chapter 1. We are taking a dive to 2014. with our boy Darren Aronofsky. What did you call him earlier? Oh, we are coming off hot of Caught Stealing.
Yes.
We're recording this as early as possible, folks. So we just literally got out of the theater, one of the first showings of Caught Stealing.
Yep.
So if there are producers coming in, we're going to just hit you up 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
Ben's going to be away. We've got a great special for you next week. So some really exciting stuff. We always want to bring just good, awesome, fresh content for you still. But why do I say that? Oh, we walked out of the theater. What did you call Darren Aronofsky? A Brooklyn...
Oh, Brooklyn hipster.
Oh, okay, all right. That's tame. That's tame.
And he is a Brooklyn hipster.
Right, well, yeah. Okay, but here he is doing Noah, a biblical story, and it's over 2 hours. And again, this was a big budget film for him. I do want to say this is almost blank check territory.
Okay.
I didn't do enough research of what compelled him to do this, why he wanted to do this, but it sounds like you and I were both doing heavy research while watching this film, being somewhat confused. Is he pulling out of his ass? Is he pulling from the Bible? What's he doing?
Well, what's people's temperature on this?
Right.
Because I'm not offended.
Do I have to go to confession after this, after watching this? Is it heresy? I don't even know.
Is it heresy?
Why don't we at least set up
Noah?
I don't know if anyone's heard this story before. It's pretty wild about this whole flood business.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
But set up the film. We'll take it back and forth.
Yeah, so taking a look at Aronofsky's filmography, you really won't find many religious bones in that body of work, but... Seriously, I mean, let's not forget the guy made Requiem for a Dream. That's not, it's not too religious at all. Nonetheless, in 2014, we get this biblical epic coming out from him, apparently in the works for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
If not farther back when he was even a child. The backstory here is that he wanted to... mixed in with his aspirations of getting into filmmaking, really adapt this story growing up, which is interesting. The idea to do a movie about Noah specifically, rather than just kind of a biblical tale, actually came to him while working on his first film, Pi, which we covered way back when on our director's first special. Pi certainly swirls around some big existential questions as well, so that maybe makes sense. But for many reasons, the idea to do a movie about Noah got benched, but 15 years later, he got his chance at the biblical tale. Noah...
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I would love to hear what the studio was saying. It was just like, well, he did Black Swan.
Right.
Let him do Noah.
Sure. And that's what I mean. They were probably foaming at the mouth for more fantasy epics.
Foaming at the mouth is anger, right?
Right. Okay, yeah, sure. Salivating. Yeah, there we go.
They were rabid. They were rabid for him to do a picture.
I'm rabid against this movie. Noah 2014 is... closer to feeling like a fantasy epic, however, adapting the stories of the Old Testament, but also broadening the scope of the story, mixing in Hebrew and Islamic mythos, intertwining mysticism with legend. Mankind in the Iron Age is shown to be as brutal and unjust as ever, and this environment teaches Noah at a young age what he can expect from the world. Now, as an adult, played by Russell Crowe, Noah is either cursed or blessed by prophetic visions of the end of the world. A great flood is coming, and soon will wash away all living creatures, unless he does something to save those without human sin. There is only one solution to preserve civilization, though, an ark to survive the coming flood, even if it draws the ire of the men who will be left behind in the destruction. But this burden is only the beginning of what Noah will have to shoulder, understanding the dark truth of what will happen to his own life if he succeeds. So, to explain the comments that Tom and I have been making about research while watching this film, I mean, personally, I felt like some of the world-building choices here are very confusing. So much it feels like you need to kind of take a Theology 101 course to keep up with everything that's pulled out. And especially to fact-check what is appropriate for the story. I feel like
what is he pulling from?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got into the Book of Enoch on this.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Most of that relates to the magic and fantasy elements shown. Once again, I wouldn't exactly call this a biblical epic. The genre is closer to a fantasy epic, which, again, I'm sure Aronofsky's producer were relieved and really excited by. A good example of this are the Watchers, which are fallen angels that become these like rock golems that help Noah construct this massive ark. There's certainly a degree of creative freedom used in how these concepts are represented. And again, these And these Watchers, these golems, are a perfect example of that. They look very high fantasy, high magic to it. But when you look back, there is that creative freedom comes from a surprisingly limited amount of details on the big swings that the film makes stylistically. There's really not, when you go back, heads or tails on if this should look this way or if this is somewhere in the creative gray area of how things could be represented, or at least his interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, he's pulling some threads.
Yeah.
And making things out of those. He's making clothing out of a single thread kind of deal. He is. He's pulling from a lot.
Yeah. For me, though, I think it might be just a touch too fantasy in a way that gives me the feeling the studio hoped that more biblical stories could have spun off if this was successful enough. Another potential big trilogy, a biblical trilogy or something like that. And like we said in the beginning, there must have been something in the water. In 2014, the very same year, Ridley Scott is tackling this early historical setting as well with Exodus, Gods, and Kings. I don't know if I don't know what it was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know.
Clearly, this was an original idea for Darren that he apparently wanted to do forever. And did it like
there might have been moles in studios being like, "Oh shit, they're doing theirs. We got to do ours now. Just go,
Darren. I know you were coked up one time. Tell me about this Noah movie you want to do." But there's seriously. I have no idea what brought this about, but it's something else. On the completely opposite end of marketability, though, are Aronofsky's own comments on the film. And we talked a little bit about this off podcast, Tom. It's not really a spoiler, but Aronofsky spoke about how, despite this being a biblical tale, the story could almost exist thousands of years in the past or thousands of years in the future. I honestly don't want to go too much down the rabbit hole of everything that points to this and everything that doesn't point to this, but certain glimpses at mankind's basic technology at the time occasionally show something that doesn't exactly belong. My question to you, Tom, because you did watch this, is do you think those moments, or if you caught any, is that fully intended, or is that maybe something after the fact to make up for a sloppy production design or something? I think
he's trying to sell tickets.
Okay.
I think he's trying to be like, hey, this is really crazy. This could happen again. I don't know.
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's just God kind of damning Earth and trying the story of Noah.
Yeah.
And just starting from scratch almost.
Sure.
I think this is Aronofsky's way of saying like, hey, if we go down this path again, this could happen in the future. I think it's just him trying to be exciting as possible.
Interesting.
And sell tickets.
Yeah, no, and that's probably right on the money, honestly. For me, it was just that occasionally you did pick up, or I at least saw that in the production, especially like...
So you did more research than me on that, too.
Okay.
Yeah. I was more so just trying to do basic book knowledge, and I was...
Brush up on the Bible.
Right, and I was interested in reception of the film from critics and from, more religious figures.
Sure.
But production talk, I was kind of out.
Yeah, it's just that occasionally you'll see, like... again, I don't want to go too much down the rabbit hole, but, like, the metalworking of the Nation of Men... it doesn't look like, pre-Bronze Age or something like that. And if anything, it looks somewhat modern. And I just wonder if that was a moment that Aronofsky looked at in the editing booth with his team and said, oh, man, I don't know if this exactly sells the time period, and then kind of, supplanted his own kind of, vision around that,
right.
To make up for it.
I think all of the above, potentially,
Yeah, for real. Honestly, I didn't hate this movie, though, because once that big flood comes, not only does it transform the type of story told, but it lets our cast of actors really shine. Russell Crowe honestly makes perfect sense for this project, even though Aronofsky originally wanted anyone else. Brad Pitt was first up for the role. Then with both Christian Bale and Michael Fassbender on deck. But nope, we got a good old Crowe. Fourth choice, or maybe even lower.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, kind of insulting, honestly. But I think Crowe makes a lot of sense, specifically in the second half of the movie, is where it honestly sold me as well. Next to his other historical performances, Crowe finds a comfortable rhythm in this genre, playing a virtuous hero, certainly easy to play, but one that is tortured on some level is a complexity that he does bring, and I would say pays off big time in the second half of the story. Like I described, these visions are equally a blessing and a burden to Noah, which translates to a type of, maybe a modern interpretation, but a type of survivor's guilt that becomes an interesting arc to this character, leaving behind mankind, honestly dooming them when he has the ability to save them. I don't know. What'd you think of Crowe? And you got to have a comment for your girl.
Jennifer Connelly is in it. My thing is, first of all, I'm somewhat perplexed by the film.
Mm-hmm.
I am bored. I'm frustrated by it.
Okay.
I'm annoyed by it. It's far too long.
Sure.
He's just like, it's not, I don't know. To me, it's not grand, and it feels way smaller budget than it ought to feel.
Oh,
in my opinion.
So it's not epic enough.
No, it feels, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of elements that feel cheap. Everything from the setting, from just... it's just, we've got, I think I made this joke to you before where it's like, okay, we have Anthony Hopkins for a day. Let's just find a cool cave and put him in it. There's no other
maybe a
works.
cave that he was already in.
Even the bad guy, right, yeah, nice. Even the bad guys they don't even have a structured town. They have nothing. It's like,
right.
Let's just set them in the woods and give them some tools, and again, we'll be done by lunch.
yeah.
That's the vibe it kind of has.
Uh-huh.
And then the second part of the film where you saying that it has you, or at least Crowe has you, I'm just bored to death by it. Kind of find it's lame. And the movie, it's 2 hours and 19 minutes. We are supposed to get this epic, and it's big, it's expensive.
Sure.
Shot for IMAX. It's so whispery. Everyone is whispering, and it's quiet, and everyone's like just melodramatic and all depressed. And I'm annoyed by it. It's like, can we just? It put me to sleep. You are putting me to sleep on this like a potentially $180 million movie.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Just it annoyed me.
Interesting.
And so, not even so much the content, although the content I felt like was wavering in the wind. I don't think it was whatever he had in his head. The movie itself wasn't as grand of what I think he was trying to go for.
Sure.
I'll put it this way: it wasn't capturing me in any way, and a lot of elements it was lame. But on top of that, it is kind of this setting and the people and the acting that kind of nothing seems grand, nothing seems super important, and it seems lower quality than I was expecting. I was annoyed by that aspect of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So not epic enough, not fantasy epic enough.
I guess, I don't know. This movie's not epic. This movie's not epic at all.
I think your critique goes towards the source material.
No. The source material is epic. It's big enough. It's big story. But this is like, oh my God. I mean, the second half is just... I mean, I've got some plot hole issues, that I can't go into.
Oh, really? Okay.
For spoiler issues.
Interesting.
But it's like, are you freaking kidding me? Really? So I just kind of thought it was a lame attempt.
Oh, okay.
Crowe does make sense in the role.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of the whispers. I'm tired. There's too much.
He's tired.
Everyone's whispering. And Jennifer Connelly, he makes Jennifer Connelly super upset. Now I don't like that,
I know. Okay. So this is some personal beef.
But everyone's just and then the end of the movie. Don't even get me started on the end of the movie. I was at one point laughing out loud, literally laughing out loud. And I thought I wish I was watching this with Vin right now.
Wow.
Because we would be having a blast with this.
Well, honestly, I mean, when it comes to that second half, I enjoyed it because it got rid of a lot of what was not working for me, which was just trying to tell a grand story. I wanted something a little bit smaller to Noah because it was Russell Crowe's character. It was something less about something he can't control and more about who's actually, putting together this arc, who's actually pulling off this idea.
Sure.
And that's where I think, once the flood, it's not really a spoiler, but the second half of the movie, Fall of Man, the second half of the movie is all on the arc. So it's like, well, we got nowhere else to go. What do we do here? And I feel like the way it twists the drama a little bit was engaging for me. That's where I was like, I didn't hate this, honestly.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, again, it is a little, it's not heady, but he is trying to do something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his mind was you're telling me at 10 years old, potentially, he had ideas for this film.
Maybe park those ideas, kid.
I was just bored by it. I honestly thought it could have gone in a lot of different different directions and just bring a little bit more excitement on film.
Okay.
I mean, even the flood, which you think would be exciting, is just like we're waiting for, and it's just like, oh, it's happening, but on top of something else that you're trying to pay attention to more, almost.
Honestly, I would say the flood is almost irrelevant once it happens because it's like there's no drama of like, is this thing gonna float? You know, there's no disaster theming to it.
Right.
You know?
The whole, what are they on? You know, it's just at one point a hole doesn't breached and the water pouring in. It's like, we gotta patch this hole.
Yeah.
I mean, just basic stuff. I don't know. Maybe I've been watching Deadliest Catch a little bit too much.
Yeah, you're thinking too mechanical.
There's no ammonia leaks on the boat. I mean, on this freaking ark. Then nothing.
I see what you mean now for like plot hole wise, though. There are some like tangible things that are just brought up and never done.
Well, there's one thing I want to call bullshit on, but I can't. We could talk about it. I just can't bring it up.
Yeah.
And but anyway, that's why I was kind of bored by it.
Okay.
The aftermath of the flood, I was like, are you kidding me? We're not even. I mean, survival isn't even.
Yeah, it's not even in the genre.
No,
it's not even attempted.
It's family drama.
Yeah, it is drama. Yeah, especially that second half. But that's where I kind of liked it. That's where it's like I don't know. I think if it went more,
you're a story guy. You like the interpersonal story.
I wanted the character, not necessarily making it a perfect storm wannabe
to your
or
point,
something.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I didn't want that either. Just for the record, I didn't want perfect storm.
Fair.
I mean, I get your point where it is called Noah. We're actually trying to look at the psyche of this guy.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Sure.
What do you think about my comments as far as set piece? And okay, they built like the front of the ark for real, and then the rest behind it was CGI.
Okay.
But that was clearly probably where a lot of money goes on the money shots, whatever, inside the ark, whatever. But what do you think of other things as far as placement goes? Setting, scenery.
My only comment that I kind of cut from my notes was, a lot of the animals, they look distinctly 2014, and I don't necessarily mean that as like a terrible thing. It's the same thing with the golems. I don't think the CGI looks bad, but I don't know. There was something there that I was a little iffy on as well. Ultimately, I kind of cut out talking about it because I was just like, Well,
to me, it made a bigger impact. I'm not even talking about CGI. No, CGI, whatever. It's fine.
The sets themselves.
Yes. Even in the beginning of the film, it just seems like, okay, this is a cool looking location. Okay, we have our 3 actors and go. Okay, whisper, whisper, whisper. Next scene, whisper, whisper, whisper. Okay, we got to get out of here. It just seemed cheap. It seemed they just spent their whole budget on the front of the ark.
Interesting.
And then again, it's like, let's just put, Anthony Hopkins picking a berry in the woods.
Yeah.
Just like no setting.
That's what I mean.
No stone structure.
They went to Anthony Hopkins' home, and he was just doing that naturally.
No cool stone structures, or like we have some type of cityness going on here. There's something I'm telling you, we could have filmed it in the foothills of the Appalachians in Pennsylvania. In this film, I'm telling you,
it could have been not only biblical, but a Keystone story.
But that's I don't need to shit on it anymore.
Maybe if we had M. Night Shyamalan make Noah, then.
What did you think of the ending?
Again,
were you laughing or no?
No, not laughing. I know what you mean. It was one bit was a little ridiculous, but it's honestly of the same note of like. I didn't, I guess, hold the logic candle to this story too much because it does exist in myth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe an earlier example of this is they put all the animals to sleep once with this like burning incense that they come up with, and then the animals stay asleep for literally the entire movie. So it's like, well, are they dosing them frequently? Are they, you know what I mean? There's a lot of logic elements like that.
Well,
that I
feel
magic
in it too.
Yeah, I just feel like that could. I'm all right with letting it go a tiny bit just because of how it blends into the legend. That's at play here.
Yeah.
So
unless it actually happened.
But seriously,
that's our theology podcast coming up next week.
Yeah,
folks.
exactly.
That's our big special.
Yeah. Gonna brush off that old degree. But seriously, I feel like the shift in setting to inside the big boat. transforms the story a little bit, and in my opinion, just got a lot more interesting for me. There's also a valid opinion that it continued down the slippery slope of being boring for you, Tom.
Yes.
You know, I would say most of the fantasy, why it was working for me is most of the fantasy elements got dialed back. The story becomes tense because of the tighter setting. And in my opinion, had something dramatic to offer beyond just a biblical retelling. And for the second half alone, I think you could choose a lot worse blockbusters to spend your time with. We're going to go ahead and give Noah 2014 a 61.
Okay, a 61%. Very fair of you. And by the way, I don't think this movie actually gets trashed all that hard.
Okay.
And it even had some good receptions from, like I was saying, like with religious leaders. I think they're just happy. Hey, the major blockbuster had some type of God in the movie. Wow, how cool is that?
Right. I heard this got banned in China though for some reason.
Oh, I'm sure that. I'm sure
is
of that.
Classic, you know.
Yeah, well, China has full grip over the Catholic Church in China, and make decisions and hide stuff and rewrite text.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's not surprising. But otherwise, when it came out, it did okay at the box office. Like, it kind of made a little bit of money, kind of broke even. But it never got panned, but nothing came of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It certainly didn't bring about a new era of the 2010s having these big biblical epics.
It felt like a bit of a blip, and that was it. Okay, so 61%. All right, I think we both got the people know how we both feel about it. Let's go.
Give the Tommy two shoes.
No, just this.
Okay.
I don't think so. It's fine. Let's move on to 2017. Mother!
Yeah.
One of the first films I ever put on the site. It might have been the first movie. Yeah,
wow, interesting.
But you rated it years ago when it came out in 2017. We were doing ratings.
Oh yeah, definitely watched this on release. I was excited for this movie, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And you watched it. In fact, this is the only one that you've seen before, naturally, because you haven't seen No One Obviously Caught Stealing. So you probably haven't seen it since it came out, right?
No.
Okay, it's been a decent amount of time then.
Yeah, you'd be surprised though how much my thoughts didn't change about the movie. I remembered this almost like verbatim. Like I remembered every beat of the story.
Okay, well, the only thing I really remember is the cast, and I know people said it was crazy and didn't know what to think about it. It's like, oh, you got to watch this one 3 times to really know what's going on. Why don't you, for us though, set up Mother! And get into it. Yeah,
well, back when we did our first Aronofsky episode, I specifically avoided covering this movie because, despite it being rated already on the website, it probably would have been an easy watch for that week. Partly because I outright don't like this movie. And unfortunately I still don't. But for the sake of reviewing, it's a very hard movie to talk about without spoilers. Specifically, the experience of the film is so chaotic and leaves you asking questions, it becomes hard to discuss it once you know the singular answer to the mystery, to all the mystery. There really is one explanation for it. As I've let on to already earlier this episode, these two movies are paired together because of their connection to religious concepts, but I can't really say anything more than that. The key to finding out if this movie is going to work for you or not, folks at home, it's a degree of allegorical versus literal elements to the story. If you are fine with aspects of this being purely in one side or the other of that, I would say only then will you appreciate this film. Mother is a doozy of a psychological, supernatural, and surreal horror that stumbles in its deeper meaning, thinking it's way smarter than it actually is. We follow Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem living in a beautiful country manor where the days are dull but filled with love as the both of them create a paradise of a home. Javier is a famous author working through some writer's block when their tranquil life is uprooted by mysterious visiting guests who rudely overstep in every interaction. For the first time, creating a disconnect between their lives and spiraling wildly out of control. Lawrence continues to show zero backbone in controlling her home, and I really mean zero backbone. And before you know it, more and more people arrive, compounding the chaos into outright pandemonium. Finally, when some semblance of peace is achieved once more, Javier is finally able to write again. However, the impact of his next work will attract more attention than ever, fanning the fever and flames of his readers. My appreciation for this film, it's all in the visuals. I still think visually this is still like a really good-looking movie, especially in giving us this like over-the-shoulder perspective of Jennifer Lawrence. The camera is always floating around with her around the home, and while her character's actions, or should I say inaction, becomes the most frustrating aspect of this for me, the camera work still creates a dreamlike experience for the horror to thrive in. I feel like the ride of this movie, without knowing the answers, and I'll talk about this as far as like its rewatchability in a second, still kind of works. The ramp up, I would say for maybe like 40% of the movie, first 40% of the movie, still works. It really immerses you in, like, you're saying, wow, what is this? And I feel like it's because of the visual language of being locked with, like, over the shoulder, as if we were side by side with Jennifer Lawrence's character. It's disorienting by design as an experience, and effective despite her performance and character just being infuriatingly lacking any backbone in this situation. I mean, the things that people do invited into her home, and she's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, there is no bottom. There is no floor to my anger around this movie. It's so ridiculous. If anything, I will say, I think the cinematography might be too effective at putting us in her shoes at times. Over the years, anyone I've talked to about this film always inserts what they would do in this scenario, always disconnected with what our protagonist does on screen. But I think most importantly, the experience of watching this film is that first-person perspective in Jennifer Lawrence's character primarily. The people that have watched this still comment on that like they don't know the twist, which the twist is very much revealed at the very end.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I won't say it's exactly cut and dry. It surprised me on this rewatch of just like how clearly it lays it out, even if you don't know.
There's really not that many questions.
I don't think so.
Because I do remember that being a thing when it came out. It's just like, I got to watch that again, or this takes a few watches, or what was that?
Yeah,
you know?
I think the thing of it is
more like an acid trip, really.
It's a singular answer to all the mystery. It really can be summed up in one sentence. So when it comes to that, you may want to rewatch it again just to pick up and make sure that whatever you're theorizing tracks, but it really is just one singular answer. I don't think it's that deep. This thing's way smarter and way, more in-depth than it is, actually.
I do remember you saying that when it came out.
yeah, for real. Straight up, though, this rewatch did nothing for my opinion about this film. And if anything, discovered that knowing the twist really sunk earlier parts of the experience for me. Not only do so many plot points come off as unbelievable in this story, actually knowing the answers just kind of puts the whole thing on rails in a way and almost makes certain elements worse. In the past, I've praised a heavy twist when it allows a second rewatch with a different understanding of the story, a Sixth Sense, a Fight Club. These are twists that enhance a rewatch to it. This, however, falls into the obvious pit of knowing the twist kind of ruins the further rewatches. It doesn't excel into that. In fact, I feel like the line this crosses that made it worse is not functioning as a normal horror movie and instead became exclusively about the metaphors that it's trying to communicate to the audience. I feel like that specifically was what I mean by it was almost on rails because I was kind of waiting for the next analogy, the next metaphor, the next allegory to come along for it. So viewing this story as what the plot puts forward in front of you feels outright unbelievable, and the intended experience is certainly meant to make your head spin, and eventually, when you've had enough, its symbolism steps in to give it all substance, but my hot take about this has always been the same, and it stays the same today. It's an idea you'd come up with in a college writing class and should have never lived beyond that. We're going to go ahead and give Mother 2017 a 47.
A 47%.
Old 47, still a 47.
Forrest Gump score.
You know, similar experience for me.
Another episode. That's for another episode.
Dude, Forrest Gump is a head-turning experience for me.
And you know, this is such a stacked cast because I mean, you have Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem leading, then you have Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer,
oh yeah,
Dom Hall Gleason.
Yeah,
like you've got actors in this film.
Absolutely, smaller ones too that I wouldn't even relatively know their name, but they've been around.
Recognizable faces.
Yeah, and they've spun off into like Marvel movies and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't even tell you how I don't like a single character in this.
It sounds like
I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I love Ed Harris.
Oh, Ed Harris is fantastic and everything. With this, I mean, this is his kind of arts. This is his film school Brooklyn hipster coming out.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is where Aronofsky is too artsy for you, and he's the one telling you he's too artsy for you. You know. And
this is why the film school kids love him in New York, though. They do. Him, Wes Anderson, these are the guys they study. They do full days on these guys.
For sure. And listen, we have covered now all of his movies. I think Aronofsky absolutely earns the respect. He's got, he's done some crazy iconic films like Requiem for a Dream, legit like excellent movies like Black Swan. This is just universally a miss. I really, what surprised me is that, and I was hoping to almost like it a little bit more, is that the ratings overall have kind of middled out in 70s.
Yeah, but that's critics for you. That's critics.
4 out of 5 stars. I just still.
It's just we're
surprised.
the worst. I mean,
we're the worst.
We're all up our own ass. I mean, that's all it really is. An industry of being up your own ass and telling people we're up our own asses.
So true.
But I'm not surprised it didn't budge on you. You saw it fresh. You went in knowing maybe what to expect. I mean, again, you had your daily ratings cap on, and we're looking at this not just. You didn't go see this to be like, oh, let's go see a new movie.
Sure,
you were excited, like you said, you were kind of excited for it.
Yeah. And I mean, it was shocking how much I also remembered about this. I mean, really, like down to every moment, every single moment of the movie, and maybe that is worth a little bit of praise. But if I had to give a different end of my opinion, but just not worth it. Okay. Not worth checking out.
47%. And another thing to say about Aronofsky is like he isn't afraid to genre switch or genre swap, which is cool because, I mean, he tries a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
When you look at all of his work, everything from... even going to Caught Stealing now, which kind of seems like his most normal film in a way.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I do like it. I mean, The Whale, very small movie. But then, like you said, Requiem for a Dream, which was crazy. I don't know. I appreciate him going for it, I guess.
Yeah.
There's something there, at least. Noah, for Christ's sake. I mean,
Absolutely.
But, okay, before we get on to the new film, now in theaters, Caught Stealing, we want to remind people that Vin and I are going off the value for value model, not an advertising-based model or not a payment tier structure paywall model. Basically meaning that you don't need to give us money to get extra content, and we're also not going to shove ads in your face, whether it be on the podcast and taking commercial breaks constantly, or on the website, just slowing it down and making it a worse product. The value for value model is if you're enjoying the daily ratings, if you're stopping by once a week, or if there's a movie that you're into once a month, whatever, and you stop by, if you stop by the website, wondering if a movie is worth a watch, we look at that as value in your pocket. So can you send us value back in our pocket? So we are listener supported. We are producer supported. Because when you donate into the show, you become an actual legitimate producer of the daily ratings. Just like in Hollywood, when you financially support a project, you're a producer of the project. And that's how we're doing it here. And the best part about this, it's not Patreon where you have to give a certain amount of money. Value for value is great because it's any amount that you want, big or small. So everyone's on their own finances. So it's $5 is a lot of money to you, and that's what you send us. It means the world to us. If $500 is a small amount of money to you and you send us that in, that means the world to us. Everyone's got their own thing going on, so it really can be as big or small, and you can make it a weekly or a yearly donation. Whatever you want. So when you go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, and everything is laid out there for you. We do have some set donations, like become a member of the Gump Club, anyone who donates in $47. But also, but the big value for value button is there, so you click on that, and it's any amount of value that you're getting. That's how we're doing it. The cool thing is, when you're a producer, you can send in a producer note. So email us your note at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's our email address. And in your note, it could be questions, comments, critiques, start a conversation. shit on us, praise us, whatever you want to say or feel like you want to say or ask, send it in. You're a producer. We want to bring you into the fold because that's what being a producer is all about. If you want to be anonymous, just say, hey, keep me anonymous, and we'll respect that, of course. So again, dailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, and everything is right there for you. Once in a while, I just say we're a slim project here. It's me and Vin. we have producer John doing the edited shorts and everything that you see on YouTube or Instagram. But for the most part, it's Vin and I doing all the upkeep and putting the work in. We do have yearly and monthly costs, things like that. So really, if it's $5, it really does go a long way. It does mean a lot to us. And if you have $500, it means the world to us. It means a lot to us. Yeah. Really the same number in the end.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so like I said, dailyratings.com. If you want to be, well, like I said, so we have a, next week will be a special, basically, and then in 2 weeks, we'll kind of be back to normal format. So anyone who donates in the next 2 weeks, you will be for 204. We'll give you the shout out on. Other than that, Vin, let's head into the theaters for Caught Stealing. Like we said, 2 years ago was Aronofsky's last film with The Whale. And here he is with the proper theater release and Caught Stealing.
Yeah. And also, The Whale. What a weird movie to go back to. I tried watching The Whale again not too long ago, and
Me too.
I don't know. But first time for you, right?
Yeah, I'd watch half of it, and then I went back to it and watched the whole thing finally.
Okay. Did you still find it just as comedic, or?
Was that my comment?
I think so. Your first comment.
It's a half comedy. Absolutely.
Right.
It has humor to it. Because Brendan Fraser's character is just so pathetic at times, and yet you relate to him at times.
Unreal.
It's a good movie, but a small movie. What I loved about Caught Stealing is it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like going to the movie and seeing a decent film.
Yeah.
Going to the theater and seeing a decent film, you know?
Absolutely.
And that was a nice surprise. I'm kind of shocked that this movie isn't being talked about a whole bunch.
Okay.
In the news, in the press. And I thought critics, at least because it's Aronofsky, I thought just it would have more buzz. People would be clamoring to, ooh, we have an Aronofsky film coming up.
Sure.
Everyone's talking about Nolan a year from now.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Paul Thomas Anderson, which is in 2 months from now.
Yep.
And here we are in kind of a slow August, and Aronofsky's not getting the love that he usually gets.
Yeah.
So, which for me is just kind of surprising. But anyway, why don't you set it up first, Caught Stealing, and then we'll take it back and forth.
Yeah, well, like we commented on last week, this really doesn't feel too much like a proper Aronofsky film, but then again, nothing would with the choices we had to compare to this week. Caught Stealing feels closer to something like we get from Paul Thomas Anderson, and a big reason for that is Darren is not writing here. This is an adaptation of the 2004 book under the same name, and writing the screenplay is the same author, Charlie Huston. Believe it or not, Charlie Huston is actually a name known in the comic book circle for working with Marvel on some notable runs of Wolverine and Moon Knight. So maybe if this does well, this won't be the last time we see him working a screenplay as well. So I really did enjoy the writing aspect of this. Not that it was incredibly deep. There's definitely some magic in some points of the film, and I feel like it does relate to the twists and turns of what it puts forth, and I can only imagine that is tied into that original novel, going back sometimes. It was also his first novel, too, so this is kind of like dusting it off from the past.
Cool.
Caught Stealing is adapted from that original story, though, as a scrambling, stylish crime film with a good dose of dark comedy and optimism, believe it or not. That is probably the most uncharacteristic aspect for our director. That optimism is really not tied, usually, to Aronofsky. Set in 1998 Manhattan, we follow Hank, played by Austin Butler, a guy with washed-up dreams to play Major League Ball, now living in the Big Apple as a West Coast transplant. When he agrees to help his neighbor pet sit a cat, he's pulled into deep shit. More than he could ever handle in a quote-unquote no-bullshit narcotics case. While he might be sedating himself from the past he's running away from, now he has to literally run from bloodthirsty Russian mobsters, a Puerto Rican hotshot, surprisingly lethal Hasidic Jews, and what feels like the whole city soon enough. But with no fall guy and collateral damage piling up, Hank must finally face what he's running from and confront everything that is stacked against him. I would say most unexpectedly here, I really enjoyed Elvis. I mean, Austin Butler.
Nice.
Yeah. Even though this feels like it plays into his semi-phony persona that he rocks as of late, I don't think this made it to the podcast, but we definitely talked about it. There's an interview with him on the Dune 2 press circuit where...
You did bring this up on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Right.
And you brought it up personally, too.
Well, that's what just sticks out to me. He says Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is his favorite children's movie. Right. And it's like, what? Dude, you're not that cool. But this really, for me, felt like the first time in a while that he fit and was comfortable on screen. This is, unlike Elvis, unlike Bike Riders, I think actually more appropriately Bike Riders, where he's doing this like James Dean wannabe. I feel like this character was finally had enough mix of vulnerability and not just being bulletproof cool in every scene,
right,
that shook that up a little bit. And that's really what I would boil him down to. He's new age James Dean. He's just trying to be cool as ice.
Yeah, he is trying to be cool as ice.
But the emphasis there is try, He is in a lot of regards, but sometimes that comes off as phony, and I feel like that bleeds on screen sometimes.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Here, it just felt like he was willing to give a little bit to shake that up, and I felt like it was a lot more natural as a performance.
I mean, he wasn't trying to be any less handsome or cool. I feel like he is trying to be cool throughout most of the film.
Yeah, true. But
the character written for him is he's faults and fails.
Bingo.
Yes.
Bingo. And that's built into the character, built into the performance, where you look at Bike Riders and it's just like, all right. Enough.
I do get, his Elvis kind of get frustrated with once in a while.
Oh, really? You're against?
I'm not against it, but the praise
Listen,
that...
I hate that movie.
You don't hate the movie.
I hate one specific aspect of that movie.
The thing with his Elvis performance, I just felt like he was a little stiff.
Oh, okay.
And not that he wasn't good, and I know he tried real hard and everything like that. It was a big, the big part of his life that he dedicated to that role.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't consider him Elvis whatsoever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played. He was good. He was whatever. It was good. But it's yeah.
I guess we'll leave that crown. Who's really Elvis? This really is Hank's story, though. In parts, I thought of almost calling this like ensemble, but no, it really is Hank's story, and I can see why this was adapted out of our writer's backlog of work. Once this story was done showing us everything that was revealed in trailers, it became a little something more than just the plot we're thrown into. It was really tied in a good way, and aspects like this haunted past or alcoholism that sticks with him today might not be groundbreaking writing, but nonetheless still was interwoven in a satisfying way to the story. I feel like this was entertaining, satisfying, but also tight in the way it was constructed.
I agree with that.
And again, that ties into credits, I think, to a writer, but, again, credits to Austin Butler. He definitely kind of sold me over on this one.
Okay, yeah. And the basic structure of the story, too, it felt like it was over 2 hours, and it's an hour and 47 minutes.
Right.
Which sounds bad. It's like, oh, this felt longer than what it really was. But actually, the pacing was good.
Yeah.
It didn't really stay too long.
It covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, it did. And that's what I loved about it. I was expecting it to be a much tighter... smaller story, and just because I'm kind of used to Aronofsky now, and we talked about him enough, it felt like a full-length picture in a really good way. And I do like the story arc and the character arc.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, though, I was ready to kind of call this an ensemble cast for a minute just because of how much I loved a lot of the small bit characters in the mix. This marks another movie in 2025 to introduce a music talent into acting. Two specifically, the first being Bad Bunny, plays this hotshot gangster named Colorado, and I just think it was unexpectedly good.
Oh, that's Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then the same for the rapper Action Bronson, though he doesn't get a lot of time on screen. He's the one in the bar.
I know Action Bronson.
Yeah. So both of those, it's just like, I don't know why this is a trend in 2025. Maybe even going back to 2024.
Scorsese plugged Action Bronson.
Oh, really?
He played the casket guy. Oh. When he picks out his green, when Frank Ed Sheeran picks out his green coffin.
Wait. In which Scorsese movie?
Oh, I'm sorry. in Irishman.
Oh, okay.
And that's when Action Bronson.
And that's why that's not ringing a bell.
You didn't make it that far in the film, I know.
You're right. I was dozing off.
That was pre-weight loss Action Bronson.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Also, I'm not normally a fan of Matt Smith and his unusually kind of unsettlingly defined face. Like he really has, like, I almost get like a fight or flight when I look at this man's face. Like he's a scary looking man.
A little bit of an annoying Brit.
Yeah,
Like he looks like he just looks very British.
Yeah.
And we have some British listeners, and that's like love you.
Right.
It's this guy in
lot
particular.
Of love. Yeah.
It's this guy in particular that we just have some issues with.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Doctor Who for a bit. Correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. And and just a collection of a lot of little stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Morbius. He was in House of Dragon and
of
stuff
course,
like that.
yes.
But I feel like if anything, leaning into the Britness of it, I thought he was great at this like cartoonish punk rocker that's thrown into it.
He had me too.
Yeah, it was just surprisingly enjoyable. I thought I was going to be an eye roll. Also, his character, unfortunately, even being shuffled throughout the story, is a character that's just like heavily shown in the trailers. So again, once this movie was done showing everything that was revealed in the trailers, that's when I was really enjoying it, because I was like, wow, this has something to it. It's not just like, all right, let's get to the next beat that we're sizzled on, you know?
We're in complete agreement. We both walked out with like eyebrows raised, like, oh, pretty good.
Yeah,
it
definitely was like pretty good.
And which made me appreciate the trailer. I was getting concerned that the trailer was showing too much. I thought that was the movie, which was another reason that we weren't hearing anything about it.
Oh,
my mind was kind of made up on this walking into it. True. And walking away, I wasn't going to watch this week.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let's give it a go.
Yep.
So happy I went to the theater for this.
Sure.
And it's not just him. It's not just our favorite British guy, but everybody's kind of killing it here. Regina King's got her persona going on.
Absolutely.
Zoe Kravitz is hot and good.
Yeah, right.
Which is great. And I think everyone's doing a good job, even those even smaller characters.
Yeah. Just
Great.
So many little bit characters that gave this...
that have real personality.
Yeah. Gave it energy, gave it something that I was excited to see who's going to kind of spill out from the streets of New York, next.
Let's bring it back from last week where we watched Honey Don't, which is one of the Coen brothers projects, and we were shocked at the lack of... Like, we weren't jiving with any character.
Right.
Usually they're great with small, big characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a week later
the weirdos, the small town weirdos.
And they're crushing it on this one.
Absolutely. So maybe there's a new era for Aronofsky. Just like,
Don't write your own stuff.
No, that's the better joke. Don't write your own stuff. Absolutely. Otherwise, you're gonna slip down into a biblical tale or something like that. It'd be too heady. The first thing I said to you, though, Tom, when we got out of the theater, is Spike Lee should be ashamed for how much better this is as a love letter to New York. I mean, ashamed, Spike Lee. Take notes. You let this Brooklyn hipster show you up. The whole movie is very stylized around what I've honestly commented on as Giuliani New York era.
It's 1998 specifically.
Yeah. For a while, I was wondering if all that throwback nostalgia would get a bit old, but it's actually here's where I think we get some of the only evidence that this was directed by our boy this week. Late 90s New York is an environment that Aronofsky is uniquely able to capture with this, and quickly became the biggest highlight for me. I feel like next to his first film, Pi, giving that a shout out again, he's never been more comfortable in his New Yorker skin. I feel like when you look at the rest of his career, it's trying to be too heady. It's trying to be too mind-blowing, and I feel like he kind of hit a good rhythm in showing some of these colors in his filmmaking. Yeah,
and you could tell that late 90s New York, that time where he was growing up, I'm sure he was soaking it in.
Yeah.
I think it was so smart to have this in 90. I mean, I'm sure that's what the book is.
I think so.
But regardless, he captured specifically 98 New York really well.
Yeah.
Because it's old enough where things were different, but still new enough where everything still looks kind of the same.
Absolutely.
And you're right. The little Easter eggs of, don't waste my minutes on my cell phone.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a little bit too, maybe eye-rolly.
Yep.
But he peppers them in, and it's fine.
Exactly.
It's like totally acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, everything from payphones, constant background music touches, black and white cookies. I mean, more shots of the World Trade Center
cash
that I could count. I mean, more shots. Yeah, paying with cash.
No. No, but a pre 9/11 New York skyline.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, he really is more than I can count. It's constantly there. But...
I like that it's a 2025. It's always like you go back and watch the 80s and 90s films.
Yeah,
but you're watching an older film and getting the New York skyline.
Yeah.
Here we have a crisp looking 2025 film with the old skyline. It's like, oh yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, I think in a lesser package, I would normally say this many shout outs would make me nauseous. I feel like I do have to kind of call out like previously how I've talked about nostalgia grabs, but I'd really be lying, and I got to come clean here if I said it wasn't pulling some serious heartstrings for me. I mean, for real. As soon as we get to Flushing Meadows in the story, and I heard a Mr. Softy ice cream jingle, I mean, I was practically holding back tears. I mean, like this was.
Is that why you elbowed me?
Yeah,
you said something I couldn't hear you.
So immensely nostalgic for me.
Right.
I mean, Flushing Meadows, as in general in the park. I mean, if we ever cover the Men in Black movies, I mean, I'll talk about Flushing Meadows again. Really, it won me over, and I feel like there was so much heart to it that bridged the gap where I would normally kind of critique this as being nauseating nostalgia.
Throwaway.
Yeah.
No, there was heart in this for sure.
Yeah. And if I really had to defend this as well, I would say it's actually tied into the music. The needle drops we get are all very background atmospheric. They're never the title track that's playing over the music. It's all the score. That would be one area where I could, again, point to where this is working. Previous things that have gone after this nostalgia don't work otherwise. But for me, I feel like this reminded me a lot of 2008's In Bruges, especially for how crime and comedy intermingle. The dark comedy, the dark crime, certainly a very violent movie as well. That being the key to the experience. And that quality stands out comparing the two because it's also a tight movie. It's a small runtime. It's a tight interweaving narrative that mixes personal and real stakes. And that's where I was really sold on this. I feel like it's a story with solid characters. It's an experience that has character. And by my money, one of the better movies so far this year. Not that that's saying much for the slump of 2025. We're going to go ahead and give Caught Stealing a 78.
A 78%? You did enjoy yourself.
The
way you walked out, you had some pep in your step.
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was really good.
I'm still processing a little bit.
Yeah, I said, I don't know if it's a great movie, but I liked it. And you said, no, I thought it was really good.
I really did. I thought this was, I mean, honestly, one of the better Aronofsky's films, period.
I'm telling you, this is right. This really is up there for you and for me now. It was great. I don't know.
Uncharacteristic, but... Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know, from Pi to this, it's maybe we like when Aronofsky's home.
Put the boy in New York.
I'm not, I mean, really, and I get what you're saying with In Bruges. In Bruges also feels way smaller, much more quaint. This feels like a full-blown film.
Yeah, true.
And,
you get what I'm saying, though, like with like harsh violence and dark comedy.
And 100%.
Yeah.
And I like that. I was smirking multiple times in this.
Yeah,
I mean, this is probably funnier to me than the Naked Gun, unfortunately. But seriously, I mean, I appreciate 78's really good. I'm not going to give it a 2 shoes. I mean, I'm somewhere with... It's tough for me to give this 2 shoes and a lace, but 2 shoes and a shine.
Okay.
For sure. I'm right in that ballpark.
Sure.
I won't give it officially, but like I said, the fact that I can walk away being like, I'm really glad last minute got to go, decide to go see it, was just a nice surprise and enjoyable. I'll definitely return to this.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. And also, like in the context of 2025, like, one of the few times, honestly, almost I can count on my hand, that I was actually walking away enthusiastic rather than just like, or outright bad,
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that, I mean, obviously it was based on a book, but it still has that originality to it, where it's not a superhero thing. It's not connected, even with F1, it's not connected to something that's... been gaining in popularity.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to see just kind of get something fresh at least. So as far as August goes, this was a great August release, and I kind of hope. I mean, it's almost like I wish now this had the hype to it.
Yeah,
like we usually get from the critics when it comes to from Darren. So. Yeah,
absolutely. And maybe it's just a matter of that they expect something heady from him, and it wasn't something heady. But I don't let that prevent you checking this out, folks. Especially if you even are a fan of Aronofsky and are kind of concerned of this tonal shift in this project. I still think this was really great, and again, if not some of the top from him.
I'm still gonna say I'm not really a fan of him, but what I like about how he can go totally different genres is it's hit or miss. It's not all bad or all good. I think for a lot of people, and that's me. You could put me in that bucket where Pi was weird and almost I didn't like it, but I did like it.
Sure.
The Whale, super small, totally different kind of film. I liked it, but also totally different vibe and feeling. So I like that he goes all over the place. The fact that you can get Black Swan, his most acclaimed film, and then you just have this, very different movies, you know?
Very, very different.
I just appreciate that about him.
Absolutely.
So, okay, then, looking at these 3 films as we close out, Darren, anything to add on, touch on? Well, special. It's kind of normal episode / special next week.
Yeah. I guess let's leave that be.
Okay.
Just because I feel like in the episode we really kind of explain, you know, its purpose a lot. But I would just say that there's a few movies that could have been in this week that we're missing that are definitely potential catch up. More so than even like last week I shouted out like Relay and things like that. Like, 2 of these movies do stand out to me that I feel like actually might make it to a catch-up episode. First is The Roses. Looks actually be funny. It's a remake of The War of the Roses from 1989. That was a Danny DeVito directed movie. Yeah, which I would have honestly loved to do both of those.
Who was the star? Do you remember the stars? Star couple?
I don't.
Okay.
But I know DeVito's in it and he directs it, which just like caught my eye. I mean, I didn't know Danny DeVito directed at all. So
I did know that he did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, DeVito had a name back then. He did.
Yeah.
You know, he had twins and all that.
How dare you invoke twins?
Well, I think they're bringing it back. I thought they were doing another Twins movie.
Stop.
I'm telling you, there was rumblings of another Twins movie.
That's neck and neck with Heat as like unacceptable.
Speaking of Austin Butler.
Yeah, for real. And the second, I mean, nowhere near as
first
with
whoa.
Oh, yeah.
With Roses. Well, this week I had pitched to you.
Yes, that's right.
Go see Caught Stealing, and I'll watch The Roses and get 2 shoes on it.
Yeah.
Which we'd never done before.
I think that was a great idea, honestly.
There's something about the past 2 trailers that came out. It's the same trailer, but I watched it and I was like, once again, thank you for giving us almost an old school kind of rom-com, rom-dram type film and 2 actors that look like they are crushing it on screen in Olivia Colman and Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Both really good actors. I'm starting,
really funny together, it looked like
I'm
the
starting
banter
to
looks
love
great.
Olivia Colman.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
great. Yeah.
I think she might be like top 10 right now.
Wow. Interesting.
But it seems just like it just seems like a normal film. That's good.
Right.
So,
and maybe in that sense, I mean, it is a remake of an 80s movie, but like, so that doesn't help it. But honestly, I was right there with you. That was, I do want to still check that out, even after, some of the weeks are going to pass on vacation. So the second, nowhere near the quality of what I think was going to be coming with the Roses, but Toxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger is a reboot of a cult classic B-movie series with Peter Dinklage. My main interest in tackling this was really discussing the studio Troma. Troma is a B-movie studio, infamous B-movie studio. Toxic Avenger is really like their main thing that they produce. But Troma as a studio springboarded many directors, James Gunn, Eli Roth, Oliver Stone, all come from Troma. And it's like, wow, I mean, like, they all just were making shitty B-movies? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I've never touched any of that because I'm probably not going to like it in actuality, but them resurrecting Toxic Avenger, no less with Peter Dinklage, kind of interesting. I mean, I don't think it's going to be great, but it looks crazy. Yeah. It looks really crazy. So
wow. Okay. I didn't even realize that's got to be a limited release. I have not seen that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're right. It probably has to be limited.
It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
Okay, fair.
Okay, which is surprising.
I think Elijah Wood's in it.
Well, then we have to watch it, I
guess. Yeah, honestly, if we did a Troma episode, that would be an episode for neither of us, honestly. It'd be
trauma.
Gross B movies. But yeah, 2 that might make it to some kind of future catch-up episode this year. We'll see, though.
Word. So. Okay, excellent, Vin. Well, Vin, thank you so much for watching these 3 films, for joining us here this evening. And folks at home, we'll run it down one more time. So we have Noah with a 61%, Mother, ! With a 47%, and Caught Stealing with a 78%. Folks, as always, thanks so much for stopping by here week after week. We appreciate you all so much. We'll catch you on the new show, and we'll give you the lowdown of what our kind of special is going to be. And as always, we'll see you right back here next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.